Hi VC, welcome to 2016. Just want to wish you all a happy new year and take you through some finds that I had over, well, sort of some since November, but I don't think I've shown. And then I wanted to do a little competition at the end, talk about a couple of gigs I went to, and haven't really thought of a question yet, but I'm sure by the end of the video I will have thought of something. Okay, so without further ado, last November sort of time, we went to see some friends near Brighton in southern England, and I located a record shop. I can't remember its name now actually, but suffice to say there's quite a lot of record shops down Brighton and the south coast area of England, and they had sort of like a deal of was it 4 for £10? I can't remember. Well, it was something that was sort of made me have a good like sort of scour around to find 4 for a certain price. They also showed this, which is this used to be the iconic New Musical Express magazine in England, but now, as you can see, it's sort of turned into a bit of a fashion magazine, really. So I don't think I can be bothered with that, to be honest. I haven't even looked at it. But anyway, the 4 that I found were, I've got a couple of Enya already, but I think this might be a little bit more difficult to find, but it's the newer cover repress of The Celts by Enya, who I think has just had something new out very recently, and it wasn't the greatest hits. So that was the first one that I found. Then I got an upgrade copy of True Blue, which I've had since 1986, but was looking a bit tatty. So out of all my Madonna albums, that one needed to be changed. Just a normal copy of it. I mean, maybe it's a little bit worn, but it's just going to play better. You know, not that I've probably played it for a very long time, but it looks nicer. Then I found a 12-inch of Marillion Market Square Heroes, which I was happy to find with this very long Grendel on the B-side. Yeah, I've just sort of gotten into them a little bit lately. Marillion. They are from actually where I'm from, and this track, Market Square Heroes, is actually about somewhere that I can walk to whenever I want in about 15 minutes. Just slightly going off at a tangent, actually. Another song, if you know this Labi Siffre, Something Inside So Strong, is actually was written. It's a sort of a late 80s pop song, I suppose, sort of an inspirational sort of song about rising up and everybody coming together. He was an African, and he was living in, well, I think he was living in somewhere on my way to work, and he apparently wrote this song on the way back from the pub, or he got back from the pub and wrote it. So every time I go past this village, I have this song in my head, which is most bizarre. But the last one I found in that shop that I can remember was a Hank Williams album, which is in mono. It's religious on one side and love songs and comedy on the other. Don't really know much about Hank Williams. I don't know if he had a mysterious death or something, or if he was, or if he was hugely popular, or if he's now hugely popular. But it's just in really nice condition. So a couple more that I found for £1. This one was from a charity shop in Eastbourne. I must have walked around 10 charity shops or so, and found a Golden Hour Status Quo for £1. It's got pictures of Matchstick Men on it, and some other ones that I don't know, but I was quite happy with that. And another one that I found, great cover. I don't know anything about this, so I will play it and see what I think of it. It's quite old, I think, like maybe 50s, late 50s, early 60s, on the Oriole label. I don't even know, is it British or American? It says the folk mass contains little jazz in the strict sense of the word. Yeah, that might sort of suggest it's not going to be as good if it's more folk than jazz, but I don't know. Anyway, so the next batch that I found was maybe, I can't remember, with it sometime in December anyway. So first three, very straightforward. Check them whether they are better as upgrades or not. Or can I Frankenstein and change the sleeves and whatnot? So I've got Bangles, different light, Def Leppard, Hysteria, and the Kate Bush, the Kicking Side. So we shall see with those. I have quite a sort of a pile of duplicates that I sort of keep putting together, and then not actually getting round to sort of deciding which one is better or whatever. Anyway, next pile from the same place, some dance records. I don't know what they are exactly. This is remix of Evolution and remix of Street Player. I don't know if that's the Street Player 70s song. Here is Laurent Garnier, 12-inch of some remixes. Dancing in Outer Space, the remix, early 90s. Now this guy, I looked him up, he's Maxwell House and not Maxwell. And this is on the Peace Frog label, so I think it would be more like hip hop or that sort of vibe than the soul Maxwell. It's in fairly good condition. You know, when you pay like 50p a pound for records, then chances are you're going to find something, you know, good. Steve Martin, the comedian. Don't even know if I really like Steve Martin that much. I haven't seen him in anything for a long time. The album. Well, this is a Yes album, but it's, I don't know, is that possibly their last album? I don't know. 12-inch of Paul Hardcastle, 19. Bird and Diz on a special price, $1.99. Charlie Parker Records. Bentley Rhythm Ace. Maybe you would know this if you heard it. It's called, well, it's 4 tracks, but Bentley's gonna sort you out. Yeah. Stax compilation, which is probably fairly common, but it's got some good stuff on it, which I'm not that familiar with, including Staples singers and who else is on here? Probably people like Wilson Pickett, I would have thought, and there's a Shaft. Yeah. Certainly they're not all the ones in here are on the actual album, but anyway. The remix of Pump Up the Volume. The Neville Brothers album, a little bit shabby, but I'd quite like to hear what that's like. You can see what it's called because the spine's quite tatty looking. Yellow Moon, it's called. Wynton Marsalis. I don't know whether this is any good or it's obviously like an 80s sort of album called Hot House Flowers. There he is. Sexual Healing, a horrible cover of a remix. Yeah, Club Mix, instrumental. Rachel Sweet, I don't know anything about her. Matthew Sweet I've heard of. Don't think she's related. And this is the sort of a house sort of album that was just in really good condition. And I don't really know much about them either. I'm guessing it's English, it's British. So before Christmas I went to see Nightwish with my wife, and that was a really good gig actually. That was like it was at Wembley. It was sold out, so the first Finnish band to play Wembley and sell out. And they were supported by Amorphis. is it Amorpheus or Amorphosis? I'm not quite sure. Who are another Finnish metal band who we actually missed because we were waiting in the wrong queue outside. We heard them start anyway. And a Swedish band called Arch Enemy that I didn't really take too much notice of while we were getting our drinks. And it sort of later transpired that wasn't a man standing on the stage. That was definitely a woman with a very deep voice. I mean, it was all right. I wouldn't say I majorly disliked it, but I wasn't really a major fan of it either. And then at the end, Richard Dawkins came on to his what do you call them? Evolutionist sort of scientist sort of person. So he came on to evangelize, I guess you could say, and that sort of created a bit of an atmosphere, I thought, at the end of the gig that was like, do people really want to hear about this sort of thing? I mean, I know the bands maybe, or Thomas Holopainen sort of feels that way, more inclined with this latest album, but I don't know. It just sort of created very much, for me, it sort of created a bit of an anticlimax. Really, it was almost a little bit like if you know when God turns up at the end of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It was almost like a sort of a, well, if you know what I'm talking about, I hope you do. But it was almost like that, very much sort of a feeling. Oh yeah, and here he is at the end, like sort of, yeah. It was maybe a little bit too much, I thought. Anyway, on a complete opposite, I went to see Robert Forster in the most unlikely venue with a mate. This was also in December at the Quaker Meeting House in sort of like a back room in Oxford. And there was like maybe a couple of hundred people there, if that. I'm not sure. Just in one very simple, basic, square sort of room. There he was with his microphone. He did mainly his new album. He did some go-betweens tracks as well. And yeah, it was a really great gig, and I was so impressed. He signed albums afterwards, so he signed my album for me. That I bought a spare copy, which I sort of would like to do as a competition. Yeah, I guess just one winner for one prize in this particular instance. And yeah, it was just a great gig, and I didn't really know what to say to him. You don't really know what to say to people sometimes, but anyway, I thought of what one thing from this gig, from this night, could you draw what it was? And then he drew this, sorry. And it was actually the light hanging down. And it was almost a bit strange because I was often looking at the light, this sort of circular thing, and there was a couple of bulbs missing. But he's actually drawn it. I'm not saying that he knew that I was looking at that or some sort of strange subconscious thing was going on. But when he drew that, I wasn't quite sure what he'd actually drawn, until I sort of got back in the car and we drove home, and then I actually realised what it was. But yeah, it was a great gig. There's a CD in here as well. So this was my copy. So I've got this as a prize. It's still sealed. It's not signed, unfortunately. But it is a really good album. It's got the sleeve notes in there. So as a question, I'm not really sure what to ask, to be honest. I would almost say, do you want to ask me a question? And then the best question that I get to ask me, yeah, I think that's a good idea. So if you can think of asking me a really good question about anything, well, anything within reason maybe, then I will answer the question, whether I will answer it on YouTube or whether I will write to you as well with the answer, and then you'll get this album. Yeah. That's all I can think of really. So thanks for watching this video. It's 15 minutes now, so I think that's plenty long enough. And I look forward to hearing you ask me some questions. I suppose I should say, yeah, you could send me a video of it, or maybe you could just put it in the comments below. And I hope I obviously get all the comments. Yeah, maybe I would like to acknowledge the question below in the comments afterwards, so that you know that I've got it. Then I'll write them down, or I'll look at them all. Perhaps I'll say the end of January, so say January the 31st. No, hang on, 30 days. Well, anyway, okay, February the 1st will be the final day, so I have to be in before the end of January, as it turns into February at midnight. So yeah, but I think that's long enough to have a few at least people to think of something to ask, some question you want to ask me. I suppose it could be personal, or even it could be yeah, within reason. It can be anything you want really, and then I will. Or maybe I'll just after then just do a video with the yeah, the winner, or I will just post it to you. I'm not quite sure yet, but yeah, okay. So that's it for now. Hope you're all enjoying 2016, and talk to you soon. Cheers. Bye.